I didn't have access to the internet, by now I'll probably be Hafid, maybe Sahihain even, maybe. Subhanallah, yani. The night before I was going to go back and pick up my family, the police stopped us, asked us a few questions, and then kicked us out of the country. He called me, yo, Muhammad, you gotta accept it. I'm like, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allah, I did sajdat al-shukr. 5 minutes later, he called me the bro. Akhi, Muhammad, I'm sorry, Akhi, it wasn't you actually. Wallahi, I broke down crying. My teacher, Ustad Abdul Tawwab, he was my main role model when it comes to memorization. He was a Hafiz already. He had 10 qira'at. By that time, he was 24 and he was teaching us Arabic. And as he was, I remember we were in class, he would write something down on the whiteboard, like something long that would take us 50 minutes to write on our notebooks. And he would say, okay, now you guys write. And as we were writing, I'm looking at the Ustad, he's memorizing. At that time, I remember Alfiya ibn Malik. So seeing him memorize it is almost like, you know, when I was back in Spain, you hear people memorizing the Qur'an. It's like, subhanAllah, how is that even possible? But then when you see those people in front of you, you're like, subhanAllah, I can do that too, man. I could. And so because of that, because I was amongst these people, it made me realize that it's possible. You just gotta be disciplined and do it, man. Yeah, there was another Imam as well over there, a Sudani Imam, and I forgot his name, but he was as well about Hifd al-Qur'an. And we used to tell him, you know, at that time, those brothers, they were very passionate about Sunnah and sticking to the Sunnah and so on. And we used to tell him, why you, or at least I remember these conversations going with this Imam, telling him, why are you wasting so much time with all of this qira'at, all this ulum of qira'at and things like that, and ulum al-Qur'an? And he used to say, well, in Sudan, when I go back to Sudan, I have all of these different sects that are very strong in Qur'an. If I'm not strong in Qur'an, don't matter what I say. Everything is going to be refuted. So I've just seen these different people and just going to the masajids and hearing the recitations in Egypt. Pretty much every masjid has a beautiful voice. No, when I was in Egypt, I wish I could go back to those times because I didn't have no distraction at all. All I had, it was a Samsung phone, kind of like these brick phones, and I had Skype and email. I used to send an email to my mom, tell her I'm on Skype right now. She would call me on Skype, I'll talk to her, and then I would just have this Samsung phone to talk to my family within the country. And that was the most beautiful distraction-less years of my life. So it allowed me, which just thinking about it right now, it was crazy. Once I told myself, okay, now that I learn Arabic, I'm gonna focus full time on Quran. I remember when I left the Markaz, I was tested from Furqan to Nas, 12 juz, and that was in less than a year. And I remember even the Sheikh saying, oh, what happened to you, Muhammad? Saw that you in the beginning you memorizing very well, now you slowing down and so on. And now thinking about it, it was when I started doing back and forth in between London and Egypt. Once social media came into my life, it was done, akhi. Everything, what used to take 1 month to memorize, it would take you maybe 2 years to memorize. And this is what I told a brother that I motivated him and I was supporting him to stop teaching English in Saudi and instead start teaching Arabic, since he was a graduate from a university and so on. And I told him, man, just don't go into Instagram, man. Allah, you don't need it. Just be careful. And same thing, he experienced the same thing. It's literally, it's made for that. It's made to distract you. And it's only been a few times in my life that I was blessed to see the effect of social media in my life. And it was by force. For example, when I was in Mauritania in actually the year of COVID, the government cut the internet in the whole country for 2 weeks. Not just cut the Wi-Fi and like even data on phones, everything, to the point where, for you to imagine how crazy it was, I told my mom, because at that time I was running ads. So I was running my business online, and you know, after 1 week I was like, yo, I need to travel or something. So I called my mom. All you could do is phone calls. So I called my mom and I told her, get me a ticket to Senegal, from Mauritania to Senegal. It's just 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. Not even 1 hour, it's just 1 hour. And she got me a ticket, and the day of the flight, all I knew is my mom telling me, this day at this time, just go to the airport. Because I couldn't even print the PDF, nothing. I went to the airport. I said, I have a flight. I'm in the attendance of this flight. They said, we don't even have Wi-Fi in the airport to see if you even on the flight. So if you don't have the boarding pass with you or the ticket, we can't even let you. It was crazy. It didn't make no sense. So all I could do is travel with the cheap Mauritanian airlines and pay in cash. And they let you in as if it was a train. Like you're paying cash and they let you in and it was crazy. But in those 2 weeks, I remember I was working on a second version of Andalusi Institute. And there was one particular work that I was procrastinating for 9 months or 10 months in between creating content, in between talking to students, in between teaching the students and so on. Those 2 weeks, I finished that work that I have been thinking. And even as well, the feeling of, I gotta start, it's probably gonna take long. And thinking about it, it caused me to not start it. Now, when I was forced to start it, I was like, might as well just do it. It took me less than 2 weeks. So then I saw how if I didn't have access to the internet, by now I'll probably be Hafid, maybe Sahihain even, maybe subhanallah yani. Because the default is there. Focus is there by default. But what messes up your focus is all the distractions that come. Environment, sometimes companies, sometimes devices. Then the next phase was responsibilities hit me in my face. Children, I had a son at that time. I had to earn money somehow. And to be honest, it was a lot of lack of stability. At that time I was in London. I was in a 2-bedroom apartment with my mom, my grandma, my brother, my wife, and my 2 children. So I was sleeping with my wife and 2 children in the living room. Like imagine a mattress, putting down the mattress on the floor, and throughout the day, put the mattress up and it becomes the living room. That type of living, and at the same time I was delivering food. So to be honest with you, and this is what a lot of people fall into, I gave up. At that time I wasn't memorizing or even revising. And to be honest with you, there is one particular phenomenon that happens to everybody that has memorized a little bit of Qur'an. To at least, I would say, after 5 juz, you start feeling that, which is like that anxiety of like, man, I didn't read these 5 juz for the past 2 months or the past 3 months. In your mind, you tell yourself you forgot them, khalas. Next time I have to start from zero. So you keep on telling yourself, khalas, I will just, when I have time, I'm going to start and re-memorize it and so on. So I did that since 2016, probably all the way until 2019. So all this time, literally, Allahu al-Musta'an, probably here and there, paying bills, working, doing back and forth in between London and Egypt. Just finding myself as a man. Okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to earn money? I don't want to do business. At that time, I wanted to do a translation. I just generally was looking for what is my future going to be like. And obviously, you have all of these responsibilities, all of these uncertainties, and at the same time, deep in your heart, you want to memorize or you want to, do your studies and whatnot. So, qaddar Allah wa shafa'al, so overwhelmed. Like literally, I remember there was at that time I was in London and I was delivering food with Uber Eats and Deliveroo. And I was trying to make as much money as possible and then go to Egypt for 3, 4, 5 months and then come back and work 1, 2 months and then go back. And I was doing this for like 2, 3 years. And I remember there was one of those years, there was the mudir or somebody that's responsible in Jamia in Saudi, Al-Qasim. And he came and there was a message sent on WhatsApp that he was going to have a meeting with a few brothers. So everyone just apply, and whoever we accept, out of 300 applications, there was only 10 brothers that were accepted, and I was amongst them. So I went in central London somewhere to meet with the mudir. I was the only brother that went in there with his Deliveroo gear because I had to go work after that. So the mudir was looking at me like weird and so on. But I remember it was I felt like a lone wolf because it was 10 brothers. The mudir, he said, من هنا يتكلم اللغة العربية? I raised my hand, the only one. I'm like, subhanallah, yeah, me. And so when I spoke to the sheikh, I said, Sheikh, شوف, والله, I remember telling him, مصر أتعبوني. والله في مشاكل وكذا وانقلاب and there's a bunch of politics and going on in Egypt and so on. I really want to leave Egypt. My family's there. I'm here. I'm trying to make money and this and that. If I get accepted in the Jamia, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to spread the da'wah later on and so on and so on. لعلكم تؤجرون, perhaps you get the reward and whatnot. I was trying to sell myself for him to accept me. So 2 years went by. The first year, actually, there was a brother. He called me. He said, yo, Muhammad, you remember that application you did? You got accepted to Qasim while I was delivering food in London. So I remember it was night time. I came back from delivering food. He called me, yo, Muhammad, you got accepted. I'm like, SubhanAllah, Alhamdulillah, Allah. I did sajdat al-shukr. I made the prostrate to Allah Azza wa Jal. Thank him. 5 minutes later, he called me, Akhi Muhammad, I'm sorry, Akhi, it wasn't you actually. Wallahi, I broke down crying. To this day, this brother, he can tell you, and sometimes he mocks me like, oh, you remember that time you was crying and this and that. I was crying, Akhi. I was like, SubhanAllah, like, I was just, I couldn't.
You think if you had Tarteel, you could do it on the go?
I mean, to be honest, I could.
If you had Tarteel in those 3 years, do you think it would be different?
You know,
never say no, but
yeah, you could. I could, and perhaps as well, I could as well. I could have revised in the morning. I could have done a lot of things, But it's true that at that time, no, I don't think I could have, man. It goes back to the same thing, like mental clarity. I need mental clarity. So my thing, it was like I was doing so many things at the same time that I was just so overwhelmed. I didn't know what I was gonna do, drained, almost even depressed. Even at that time, I think as well, at that time I was away from my wife perhaps for six months straight. I'm dealing with my own male desires and things like that. So it was a whole madness. I generally had to take care of myself first before I could even do anything else. Like that was already like stopping on prayer times. It was already like, SubhanAllah. So my iman went very low from where it was to where I was at while delivering food. It was very low. At the end of 2017, I decided to go back to Egypt. At that time, I started a business, Amazon business, and I was making some money. I got to Egypt. Literally, the plan was to go there for a week. I got to Egypt, and within that week, I got an apartment. I furnished it. The night before I was going to go back and pick up my family, the police stopped us, brought us to the police station, asked us a few questions, basically got us in jail for 6 days, and then kicked us out of the country. Now I'm back in London. Again, I don't know what to do. But at this time, I'm like, okay, well, now at least I found about all this business stuff. Like that forced me to, okay, now I'm going to put all my life into business. I'm going to learn business. And it was gradual because I was still delivering. And when I had some money, I got an office in Vauxhall and I was doing rush hours, like 3-4 hours of focused deliveries. And then I would go and continue to learn and continue to build on the laptop. And alhamdulillah, qaddar Allah ma sha fa'al, man. I don't know what it was, if Allah perhaps saw sincerity in our hearts, whatever, it literally just opened my doors towards starting business. I started at that time. I was a social media marketer for chiropractors, and it was literally I was just following an online course that I had bought. I was like, I'm gonna try this out. But then at one point I got tired again, and I was like, why not use these skills to teach people Arabic? So when I came up with this idea, then I was making £300 a month still with Andalusi Institute, but I decided to take my family. I believed so much that with about £500 in my bank account, I took my family to Mauritania.